check. Go live on the air. Check. Press play. And there's no sound. Shit.
Are we live? Yeah. We are live, everybody. Oh.
The fuck?
Lost it.
All right. Hello, Miami. It is Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. This is Nothing's Going On, episode 27. I am your host, Rafa, and apart from all these little technical difficulties right at the start here, we are having a good time here on Jolt Radio. You just heard Love Tempo about 10 minutes ago while we were setting up. They had a great little set. And now it's Andu and I, Andu, Miami native, and Rafa, your host. Okay, let's get right into it. Stuff that you did recently in Miami. I have something, but wait, right before the show started, you told me something about a rodeo, and I don't know about this rodeo. There's a rodeo in Miami, and I don't even know about it. Tell me what's up.
Well, first off, good evening, everybody. This is your favorite Marinero Jardinero coming to you live.
Okay.
So, Miami, or Homestead, has a rodeo. Not so much in Miami, but Homestead has a rodeo, and it's now, or it just passed in the last weekend of January.
The show encompasses all of Dade County.
Good. So, I don't know if anybody's made it. I didn't make it this year, but it's a really good time, and there's a local star named Felicity Acres that has a big following, and all the local, I guess, businesses in Homestead sell tickets for Felicity, and she rocks it. I think she does the I don't know,
She rides one of these.
Yeah, the lasso and the rodeo.
No way.
Yeah.
She rides a bull.
No, she doesn't ride. She does the lasso.
Oh, okay. All right. And is this one of those things where, like, you go out there and these guys are just falling off these?
Well, there's a couple events, right? They have the speed horse that they do a triangle with. I forgot what it's called. The figure eight with the four cones that they haul ass around one cone and then another.
Okay.
And then they do the rodeo with the little calf. I mean, people who are listening probably know better than I do, but.
All right. Well, if you are listening, you can call 305-523-9446 if you've been to this rodeo, and let us know. If you're listening on the internet from far away, we are talking about Miami here, and Andy knows a little something about the rodeo, but not enough. So I'll go into what I did last weekend, and we've talked about this a lot, Andy, but for our listeners, last weekend was the International Noise Conference in Miami, which I am very much a fan of. It's from Tuesday to Sunday, and it's mostly noise bands. So I talked about this last year, and one of the things that keeps happening is that bands go out there and they play stuff that isn't noise, and it's kind of frustrating. But for the noise sets that I did see,
wait, did they play like the music? Or?
Yeah, they start playing music.
Like
Somebody
songs?
was telling me, like songs, and
Good
you're just
heavens,
like,
yeah.
and you're just like, what are you doing here?
Why
Well,
would
you're in the wrong place. And so somebody was telling me outside, Tony Pizzicato, who does another show here, he was telling me how some people started doing a drum circle and singing Duran Duran, and I've gotten nothing against drum circles or Duran Duran, even though they're not my thing, but like that's not what you want to see at Noise Conference. So I did see some good kind of weird shit. Did I see anything that really like blew me away in terms of the progression of noise? Honestly, not really. I went 2 days. I went Tuesday and I went for one set, which was Arturo's band, and it was Arturo and friend of the show Arturo and this guy Diego Melgar, who has a band called what is it? Snapple? No, wait. Fuck. Oh, anyway, they did an interesting set, but again, it went into too much music and right at the end, and not enough noise, and that kind of bummed me out because they're very talented. And then seeing a lot of the other bands that I saw that did noise sets, they did like what I would call classic noise, which is when noise started, it was kind of like
the noise genre.
yeah. When noise started, or the way I think about it, is that at the beginning it was literally bands and just making noise on their instruments, and I saw a good amount of that, but I didn't see anything that kind of pushed it, and maybe I just didn't, I didn't go all the days, and I didn't see, all the bands and stuff like that, but I don't know. For me, it was a little bit lacking, but I still love it. Still think it's a very Miami event. It happens at Churchill's, and I still highly recommend it, especially if you've never been, because it's something else.
Are there noise conferences elsewhere?
I mean, there's noise bands all over the world,
Ugh.
but if there's noise conferences like this, like 4 or 5 days of just noise somewhere, I don't know, maybe, but
I keep uching because I had a really bad experience. Well, not a bad, it was an extraordinary experience. But I haven't been back since that one time I went with you 3-4 years ago.
yeah, that's
4
a
years
shame.
ago?
Yeah, probably like 4 years ago now.
I mean, I don't know. For the listeners, I walked into a room. My first room I walked into, there was one dude. Obviously, you hear noise, and you're walking in, and it's dark, and it's Churchill's, and it's grimy, and it's sticky, and it's beautiful for all that. But there's all this noise, and everywhere there's just noise. And I walk into this one room, the first room, the farthest room, and there's a dude who's about 6'8", and he's in platform shoes, heels, boots, platform shoes.
Yeah, platform shoes.
So he's already wearing platforms, so he's extra tall. And he's got thigh-high pink and black striped thigh-high socks. And then moving up, he's got a tutu.
Yeah.
And a ballerina. What's the top half of a ballerina outfit called?
A
Tank top?
leotard.
A leotard. So a leotard, a tank, tutu, thigh-high pink and black socks, platform shoes, and he's holding a bass guitar. And
He's playing bass?
he was playing a bass guitar, with the strap around his neck. And then in his right hand, he's just got this, he's got this massive, sort of huge vibrator, big fat vibrator on, just rubbing up and down the bass strings to get you an idea of what a noise conference is capable of handling. And it was, it's just, I could mimic the noise on the radio, but it would probably be horrifying for the listeners. Yeah, cover your ears for the moment. But anyway, ever since I saw that, I said, well, it's a special taste. I mean, you kind of really got to want to be there.
Yeah, it's like a train wreck right in your face. It's
intense.
Yeah, it's intense. Anyway, I had a good time, even if it wasn't the best I ever saw, and I highly recommend it if you're in Miami.
I think he had a tiara too, just to complete the outfit.
Oh, nice.
Long hair and a tiara.
Hot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are you saying I should get a tiara?
Can. Anyway, what we talk to me about anything else you've done in the past week or whatever.
I feel like every time I come on the show and I contribute stuff like to do outside of Miami, which you just said is okay.
Yeah, sure. If you have something that actually happened, I want to hear it.
Well, no, I was just gonna say we went camping, but that's Big Cypress camping is definitely worth going to if you haven't been out there.
You got any mosquitoes or anything like that?
No, we were clear on the mosquito. That's the beauty of camping in January, is that there's a slim to no chance that there's mosquitoes out.
All right. And it's just you and your girlfriend?
Yeah, me and the girl. And the crazy thing is that you come. We were in Big Cypress, and we.
You come in the tent, you come in the outside, you come everywhere.
On the sleeping bag. No, there's gators. I mean, they're not gators everywhere. It's not like you're terrified of just getting bit by a gator. But you're walking around, and all of a sudden there's one there. So it's pretty impressive how they just can be.
That is kind of cool.
In your face.
All right.
Yeah.
And you don't. But that doesn't bother you when you're sleeping or anything like that.
No.
Are there raccoons?
No, there's no raccoon. There's a lot of bird of prey. Bird of prey. You definitely see a lot of birds. You see a lot of gators. I mean, it's if you want to get out of the city for a minute, I recommend it.
Cool. All right, let's keep moving straight into the things that are actually happening in this town. It is Wednesday. Damn, there's like a fake roach over there. Kind of scared me. Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. Here, nothing's going on Jolt Radio. So right into what's happening in Miami. The first thing I read about this week is that Scotty's Landing, now called like Grove Bay something or other, they're finally closing it and knocking it down. This has been in the works for about 3-4 years, where the city of Miami, who owns the whole property there in Coconut Grove on the marina, like that whole harbor property, they gave out the concession, I guess, or they put it out for bidding, and some company came in and they said, we're going to redo this whole place. It's going to be so much nicer and all this stuff. And so that's when they kind of marked the end for Scotty's Landing. And so Scotty's is kind of like this wood shack kind of place with usually a live band, and it's right on the water, but it's, you know, it's old and like old Grove kind of thing. Yeah. And so that's going down finally real soon. Huh?
Sorry, what's the in 30 Rock, the Jimmy Buffett fans in 30 Rock?
Oh, what do they call them? I don't know. What? Not parrot heads?
Yeah, no, I'll pick it up, sorry.
Pina Colada Berg. So Scotty's, they're going to close it finally, and the place they're going to put, the thing they're going to build in its place is, I mean, it's not like Scotty's at all, but...
Bayside?
I mean, everybody who's against it says it's going to be like a Bayside, but the actual Scotty's is going to be renamed Hangar 42, and the building looks like it's kind of a kind of square structure, small, which would be like the kitchen and the kind of back room, and then it's got a really large roof that overhangs all the way over the patio.
Just like Scotty's?
Kind of like Scotty's, exactly. But all modern and like done by Architectonica and this. And they claim it's going to still be casual like that. But you see the renderings and you think to yourself, this is going to be a lot more expensive than Scotty's. So
what do you think a cocktail would cost?
12, 13, 14. Just looking at it, it just seems a little too nice for it to be any less. And I mean, that kind of plays into, do you think that, it's kind of going off topic, but do you think that that like times are changing? I don't know if it's because of my age, that even younger people and people our age and older people are not going out as much as they used to. Do you think that, or am I imagining that?
I feel like we were having a similar conversation not too long ago, and I think it's our age group. But then again, you know,
we were talking to this buddy of yours at the corner last week on Tuesday, and he said he had come in from Spain, and he said that more and more people are hanging out in the afternoons, and they're not doing late nights or anything like that.
In Spain, which is known for a nightlife culture.
Exactly. So I feel like the same thing is happening here in Miami, but not even. I don't think people... I mean, you can obviously find a party anywhere you go look for it if you really want to look, but I wonder if... I don't know, if it has to do probably with how much money people have.
Someone call in and let us know
money and time.
If there's more parties at houses or there's just no more parties.
Or if people are staying home to do that kind of thing.
I opt for a house party, over a bar any day. But that's just me.
Yeah, me too. But
and I'm close to 40.
That's funny, but people aren't throwing these house parties either. Maybe the kids are.
Well, nowadays I feel like it's common practice to call the cops at 11 or 11:30 or whatever it is. Get them ready, get them primed for the 12 o'clock shutdown.
That's kind of whack.
Yeah, but then there's the bar scene, but the majority of bars, paying $20 a...
Yeah, that's like it's unaffordable for especially for young people to go out to the bar. It's a higher percentage of what they're making, don't you think?
I do. So to answer the question, I think people do go out less. And is it a good time to open a bar business? I'm sure you can still make a lot of money, but
Depends on the neighborhood, I guess. Or if you do the, maybe if you do the high end one and you get less volume and you just charge a lot more.
what about this Alapata area? I keep hearing about it blowing up, but all I see is Los Rosas.
You know what I like is that things are not blowing up. And I've talked about this. They thought that Little Haiti would blow up, and it's I just keep seeing that it's kind of stale, and it's kind of nice that it is, because they'll knock out they'll take everything that is I guess affordable. I mean, we were just talking about Churchill's. I could only imagine somebody buying that out and trying to build something there.
What do you get at Churchill's? A PBR, tall boy.
So you can. I get Rolling Rocks.
Nice. My boat beer.
Rolling Rocks are they it's funny because when you see people, I guess because they don't know, because when you order a Rolling Rock at Churchill's, they ask you, do you want a small one or a big one, right? And you think to yourself, because you look around the bar, that a big one is a tall boy, which you see everybody drinking, right? But that's the small one. If you get the big one, so a tall boy, what is that, like 16 ounces?
Uh-huh.
The big one is 24 ounces. It's two full beers, 2 full cans of beer,
the large Slurpee
in one beer, and it gets hot in 5 minutes, and then you're drinking this gigantic thing that you can't, I mean, it's a good value, I suppose. But
what's the difference in price?
I don't know, but I know that over there you can still get a cheap beer, which in a lot of bars you can't. And if you develop all these neighborhoods and you kind of wash out all these bars and stuff like that, you're kind of killing, little there is left of these things,
So what's the bar that Miami needs is the big question.
The bar
that's going to stay full? Well, not full, but do well throughout the week.
It's the corner, but with cheaper prices, basically.
And music that starts at a reasonable hour.
You're hilarious. The kids, the thing is, I told you, so Andy's complaining because, music always starts like at 11 and later, right? The reason this happens, Andy, is because your people who go out on a weeknight and stay out and drink and stuff like that, they work in the service industry, and they're finishing work at 10, 10:30, 11, and then they're hitting the bars, and they have time to hit the bars because the next morning they don't work at 8 a.m., They have time to sleep it off and all that stuff. Whereas us working 9 to 5s, we got to be up at 7, and you probably have to be up even earlier. What time do you get up?
I wake up at 6:30.
Okay, so that's if you go out, that's going to be rough.
I get it, but imagine all the people that are in that group of 9 to 5ers.
Well, so
who would like I don't know, maybe someone knows and call in and say, hey, there's good live music at a reasonable hour here.
305-523-9446 if you want to call in and tell us where you're getting your live music. Scotty's was
one of those places.
Yeah, it's one of those places that had happy hour bands.
The unwind you lack.
Yeah. So that's a weird thing. Do people, happy hour isn't as popular on the weekdays anymore, which is kind of a cultural thing.
Is drinking just passé?
I don't know if, I guess for certain people it is, and I read things sometimes. One of the things that, to me, it was a little depressing, but I suppose the kids nowadays think it's empowering. This band that I like, I won't name them, but her lead singer, in an article that they were interviewing her in the New Times, says that that kids need places to be that aren't bars and stuff like this, and like that they can still like make music and do all this stuff. And I'm like, but like if that's what people want, which is kind of like I don't know, I guess maybe bars are passé and stuff like that. Like if the kids now want to be healthy and all that kind of jazz, but it's gonna change. It's gonna change everything a little bit.
Well, I know there's a new skate park in downtown.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it's a cool spot for the kids to go.
Yeah.
And the majority of them sneak in. You're not supposed to drink there, but a lot of them are, sneaking in one of those 4-packs of tall boys or whatever. And it's not like drinking's, gone forever. But I think it comes down to the prices of the drinks at the bar.
Yeah, that's got to be it. It's cheaper to take a little tall boy 4-pack to the skate park than it is to be at the bar consuming.
So is there like a future of non-alcoholic bars coming?
No, because those
Kombucha bar?
so this is already happening in other cities. Yeah, there are non-alcoholic bars where it's not just coffee, but they have like certain little drinks and you can kind of hang out. But
An elixir.
it's still something for people with money. Ultimately, you know, it's not solving that problem of the person with no money can't go to the place. If you know that person's just staying home and drinking an iced tea or something.
There's a good chance that there's a large majority of people saying like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" Yeah.
Well, they're listening like, I'm out every night.
Clubs jamming.
Yeah, but they don't know how much it was jamming before. Like places were exploding every night of the week.
These two geezers.
Every happy hour you could go out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and these places were slammed. The Grove was slammed.
Yeah.
South Beach was. And
Wednesday
now
was,
it's a little less.
Yeah, Wednesdays was ladies' night. Thursdays was college night.
Yeah.
Friday's the weekend.
Exactly.
Saturdays, whatever. Sunday's the brunch. Monday's a Sunday.
Yeah, and Monday's the day to rest, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Scotty's going away. Just putting it out there. I guess it's a sign of the times.
I think it's already gone a long time ago.
No, it's still open.
Really?
Yeah.
They were talking about closing that?
Well, they switched the name, so the owners, like the people who were running the concession, they kicked them out because it's right next to City Hall. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
And so when the service was really shit and the food was garbage, it's the City Hall is like literally next door, and all those people that work there and stuff like that, they go there and they're like, why the fuck are we renting this place out right on the water to these people who are doing a shit job at
That's
it?
true.
You know,
the food. I mean, maybe at once upon a time it
garbage.
was good, but the last 10 times I was stuck there, went for a drink or whatever, and you order conch fritters and they come out like bubble gum, and it's like, okay,
yeah, disgusting. So, I mean, it was good for a drink, and it was good to see that band on a happy hour and stuff like that. But anyway,
there is that cute bartender there that opened the what's it called, Shortador. She left there and went to go do Shortador.
What's Shortador?
Shortador is the closest thing you can get to Jimbo's now in the Grove. It's like another unwindy-lax vibe in Coconut Grove by Grand Ave and Maine. Right by Headline, where Headliners used to be, where you
Really?
can get a fade. So they open like a fish market because she's married to a fisherman. And they have a little fish market there, but you can also go around the back, and they have buckets of beers and fried fish. And you've never been?
How you not invited me to your little Grove hangout? Then,
Oh man, you gotta get off the island a little bit.
Well, this is the first time you've mentioned this place.
I feel so bad I don't know her name, but I'm sure someone can call in. What's the phone number?
You ever got a fade at Headliners?
I did. I came out with one of those tapeworms or whatever it is. Not a tapeworm. Tapeworm's internal. The ringworm. They probably had a special comb for the white kid.
So Shortador?
Yeah, someone call in. What's the phone number?
305-523-9446.
Someone remind me what the name of this lovely girl.
Live here on Jolt Radio.
If I try and say it, I'll butcher it because it's Latina. But
nothing's going on.
Dindra
in Miami.
Dindra.
Just found out about a new place in the Grove.
Shortador.
At the old Headliners on.
No. Adjacent to, or around the corner of.
Okay, so what is that? 37th and.
You remember where the Fina gas station was? The Fina, where you can get underage beer sold underage.
On 37th.
Yeah, so if you get off US 1 and make a left towards the Grove on 37th, you keep going, and right before you get to Maine, you'll get to Shortador.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go check that place out. Okay, so let's move on. Let me tell you about another little piece of news here. You ever go to Palacio de los Jugos?
Oh, did I? Do I? Did I? You can't eat there, man. They give you too much food.
Really?
Oh, man, it's horrible.
How's a Cuban sandwich? Have you ever had it?
I gave up Cuban sandwiches a while ago. Sorry.
I had one today. It was so good.
Yeah, where? There?
Well, I'll talk to you about that. Oh, the
Not
Oasis.
Because everything there is a monstrosity. It's
at the
almost grotesque what they give you at Palacio de los Jugos.
At the Oasis on the Key, it was really good.
I can imagine.
So, Palacio de los Jugos, there's like 10 of them in Miami. I don't know where the original is. Is it the one on 27th?
The original is on 57th and 8th Street.
Okay.
by the airport. Well, by where the Coral Gables Prada is. I don't know if you know.
So the totally unoriginal one, there's this guy in Hialeah. He starts a place. He calls it El Patio de los Jugos. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He puts the same red and yellow thing on the awning.
That's what he messed up.
So it looks just. I mean, it tries to be exactly the same, but it's way smaller. It's way smaller than any palacio. But it's El Patio de los Jugos. And so a couple months ago, Palacio de los Jugos sued him. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, you have the same colors. Your place has almost the same name."
He didn't turn it green and white, did he?
No.
There's another green and white something or other.
That's like a Versailles knockoff.
Another Jugo or something or other.
So when it happened, when Palacio sued Patio, the owner of Patio is like, "Oh, it's because they can't compete with me. Oh, if they were so, it's probably just because I'm better. That's why they're suing me." Anyway, the judge put down the order today or yesterday that you can't keep using this name, and the thing is like egregious copy of what you're doing. The judge. So one thing that I thought was funny about the judgment is that the judge said, Palacio and Patio. He's like, Palacio starts with a PA and ends with an IO, and Patio does too. I mean, they're not the exact same word if you speak Spanish, but this guy didn't. I don't know if he spoke Spanish, but he was.
He messed up with the red and yellow.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the judge. The judge was I mean, I don't know if he speaks Spanish or not, but he had like an Anglo name, and so I wonder if to him like all these words kind of sound the same, but they're not. But obviously this guy's El Patio de los Jugos is the phrasing and everything like that is a total ripoff of El Palacio and whatever.
So a little hack.
And the red yellow, yeah, it's egregious. But so now the guy has to change the thing. It's in Hialeah, and if you're into that kind of thing, into knockoff Cuban joints,
you'll definitely come across 8 Palacio de los Jugos before you get to Hialeah. On the way to Hialeah.
All right, you're good. Yeah. So that happened, and
do you want to hear a funny story about how I first? How I was quick to answer the first Palacio. I think it's on 57th and A Street. It's definitely one of the first ones, if not the first one. But my old man, my dad used to, when we would have a boat day, we couldn't get on the water before, 11 a.m. because he would insist on driving out there to fit. We were on the quay, and he would drive out to 57th and A Street just to go get one of those. They had these, like gallon tubs of fruit salad, which has, probably orange juice or whatever. So it was like a juicy fruit salad, and that was the rum cocktail of the day on the boat. Basically dump half a gallon or whatever, a liter of rum into it, and that was like the fruit salad rum cocktail in a
okay,
it's like an adult baby bottle.
Okay.
Anyway, that was a part of our upbringing,
and that's where you would pick it up.
That's why we would get late to the boat every weekend.
Cool.
Yeah.
What boat?
Oh, the old Up to No Good. The old Up to NG.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they mentioned that. Oh, you don't know Andy? Yeah, he's like the Up to No Good guy. He used to have a boat.
That's my old man.
I forgot who mentioned it. He was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, they still have the license plate still says that.
Yeah, it was an era.
Anyway, Palacio de los Jugos, Patio de los Jugos. That's how it happened. Okay, moving on a little bit. Back to alcohol sales. You into spring break, Andy?
No.
So we were talking about people not partying. During spring break, a lot of kids come to party in Miami Beach, right? And when they do, they kind of make a mess. And lately, things have gotten like worse, I guess. Well, we've talked about this. We talked about this last year. They were complaining about it last year. This year, the mayor of Miami Beach, right now, right, it's happening right like yesterday. He proposed.
Is it already spring break? No way.
It's March 6th is like the big start date to like the 23rd, and all the way in between. There's more. So he proposed stopping. Last call in Miami Beach, but only from 5th to 16th Street. And east of Washington, basically. So basically,
Ocean Drive.
Ocean Drive, Washington, and everything in
Yeah.
between from 5th to 16th would have to close at 2 a.m.
Fat Tuesdays.
Yeah. So,
But that's not unreasonable.
well, here's the thing. Are these kids really are they making a mess at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, you're capable of it.
Of course you're capable, but they're making a mess.
You think they're day drinking all day and then
That's exactly what it is. So one of the biggest things is at like 6 p.m. when the sun goes down kind of stuff, and they start leaving the beach, and they all walk to Ocean Drive to all these shitty bars that there are there. That's when shit gets out of control.
yeah.
And so, that's not going to do at 2 a.m. And so I'm thinking as a patron that goes to Miami Beach, to a couple of places in that area, don't kill me at 2 a.m. I'll tell you, the Deuce would be closed at 2 a.m., which is, to me, unfathomable.
They should give them a pass.
Right? Kill Your Idol would be closed at that time. Lost Weekend, the Playwright would all have to close 2 a.m. And then, of course, Mangoes would have to close at 2 a.m., which is a travesty because it only gets raunchier after that.
I don't even know what Mangoes is. I thought
You've never been to Mangoes?
isn't that I thought Mangoes was the bar next to the AA arena.
Oh, I think they have a Mangoes in the AA or next to it. Yeah, but that's like the fake Mangoes.
No, that's Bongos.
Oh, okay.
There was a club next to the arena, like in the arena, like adjacent to the arena.
It sounds like a copy of Mangoes.
Mango Bongo.
So Mangoes is a place, Andy, that you need to go to once in your life.
Do they have? I bet you they have the frozen cocktail.
Every frozen cocktail, Andy. Andy, this place is the kind of stereotypical Miami vibe, like that you would see in a movie or something like that. So you walk in, and it's huge. It's like 2-3 stories. It's all open air, and you walk in, and right in the front is it's like a bar, but also a stage.
Oh, I think
And there's chicks dancing.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's dudes dancing. Like the last time I went,
Like
right when we walked in, it was like dudes dancing instead of chicks.
but like Cuban Pete dudes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've been to this.
It's all kind of blue lighting and very tropical
A lot of
kind of
mojitos.
stuff. Yes, mojitos
Yeah.
and what did we have? I went. You know when I went? I told this story already. I was right after New Year's was on a Wednesday, and then I got back into Miami because I was out of town. And that Friday, I met up with Wampy, our buddy Wampy, and
Gaia?
yeah. And so we're in Miami Beach, and everything's kind of dead because it's literally the Friday after the Wednesday New Year's Eve, So everything's a little bit sleepy. And some of the places we went to were closed or whatever. And he's like, let's just go to Mangoes for sure. It's going on. And we get there. There's like 5 of us, though. And he orders like some rum runners or like Bahama Mamas. That's what it was. Bahama Mamas. Disgusting cocktail. They made it well, but it's just the sweetest, grossest thing.
The shaved ice.
Yes, of course. No, that drink actually doesn't have it. But it's just like this pink, sweet, fucking rum drink for people who don't drink. I guess
The real question is: are there young people nowadays that find that appetizing? Because that, for me, it just sounds.
So the type of person who goes into Mangoes and would be very disappointed if they closed at 2 a.m. Is a mix of tourists coming to Miami who are like, this is exactly what I thought Miami would be.
Tourists who are coming back to Miami.
And they're super excited because they go in there and, like you said, Cuban Pete is dancing on the thing and whatever.
Yeah.
Then there are these cheeseball dudes who are from Miami, and they go there to pick up tourists, and they know what's going on. So they're cheesy. They want to be Cuban Pete's, and they're dancing and whatever. And they're trying to pick up tourists. Then there's tourists who don't know anything about where they're at.
The German.
And they are kind of like, they should be at a better bar, but they're in there and they're like, this is the most cheese dick place. And they don't know where else to go because somebody told them go to Mangoes because you're in Miami, you got to go to Mangoes. And then there's people like me and Wampy who go there
Just want to have a good time.
kind of ironically, but not really.
Just want to have a good time.
And I told this the last time. It's a very very anybody can get in kind of place. The cover's relatively cheap. It was like $10 most or something like that. And they put on a show, so it's like for that. I mean, it's something. But there was a guy in a wheelchair in there jamming
stage?
out. No, that would be awesome. No, it was a guy in a wheelchair doing his thing, and it's just like a weirdo kind of place. And there's different rooms with different musics and. I don't know.
Do they have that solo sax player that some places have?
Oh, that'd be cool. No, not when I've been there, but
Oh,
there are the chicks are hot. All the bartenders are hot. The dudes, like I said, are hot. All the Cuban Pete's. And so, anyway, it's a travesty that the mayor of Miami Beach, Dan Gelber, he wants to shut it down for the spring break. It would only last. He says that. It's only during it's for, I think it was 17 days from March 6th to the 23rd that he wants to do a last call at 2 a.m. And it doesn't affect the west side of the beach.
Doesn't New Orleans have a 2 a.m. call?
No.
No, that's a late call. Who has a 2 a.m.? There's a bunch of places that have 2 a.m. calls.
I know, but Miami doesn't. And Miami's a kind of...
Miami does have a 2 a.m. call somewhere.
And the Grove has a, 3 a.m., right?
I don't know. I don't go out that late.
Well... the Grove, when the Grove did a 3 a.m. permanent call, that's when the Grove died right away. Because you know what happens with a 2 a.m. call? You think to yourself, well, 2 a.m.'s pretty late. Like, is it really going to affect that many people, the difference between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m.? What happens is that people who go out for a late dinner, they might finish like at midnight, they think to themselves, let's go have one more drink. And they think about going to what neighborhood they're going to go to have this drink. And they don't go to the 2 a.m. last call because they say,
just in case.
we're going to get there and it's going to be over, And that's what happened. That killed the Grove when they did that. And that's what the neighbors wanted. They wanted to totally destroy the Grove. But
as we've seen with the closing of the Sandbar. No, the
Tavern?
The Tavern.
Well, the Tavern's a little different. But and then the Grove is evolving into like restaurants, and now they're building out that
Cocoa Walk.
That Cocoa Walk business district in the Grove. It's like the antithesis of what the Grove used to be. But soon the Grove is going to have no trees, and it's going to be like a mini Brickell, mini Coral Gables downtown. But whatever, that's like a different story. But when they did that, the nightlife in the Grove just tanked, and so that's what I'm sure that these people are worried about here. Is that it was proposed a couple years ago to do 2 a.m. for the whole year, and that was shut down really fast. But this thing that's like 3 weeks, they're like, well, maybe we can do that. And I don't want to call it a slippery slope, but if people who are in charge like how that goes, you could see them being like, hey, we should have 2 a.m. all the time, and shut this whole thing down.
And who would uproar? The tourists?
The businesses, of course. I mean, think about how much business is done, like nightlife business in Miami Beach. That's a big
lot of employees like a good night's rest.
Exactly. No, they work nights, so it's different. And that's when people tip too. Beep boop, night. So anyway, if you live in Miami Beach and you feel strongly about nightlife, I would implore you to.
Does Radio still exist on South of 5th? Radio bar?
Oh, that's right. No, I don't know. South of 5th is not affected, so if you have like Ted's Hideaway, wouldn't have to close it too.
There's mini bars there too.
Mini bars there too. That's one of the that's the place that we went to right before Mango's. That was closed that day, probably because it was right after New Year's. It wasn't even that late, and it was closed.
It's a great little bar.
And we were like, shit. And that's when Wampy was like, let's go to Mango's, fuck it. And Mango's was popping. Like, it was packed.
For all of you who haven't met Wampy,
he's a great guy.
Put it on your bucket list.
I think he was on the show one time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Anyway, it's Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. This is Nothing's Going On in Miami, live on Jolt Radio, episode 27. I'm your host, Rafa, and I am here with Andu.
Marinero, jardinero.
And the other thing I have here to mention is the recall effort. This is kind of politics of Miami, but I think, if you're a listener and you're from Miami, you should know this. City of Miami, okay? Not Miami-Dade County. City of Miami, which is, Brickell, downtown, Coconut Grove, Little Havana, Alpata, Overtown, Brickell. Yeah, I said that. And all the way up to, I don't know how far it goes up.
Buena Vista
Buena Vista, that whole area.
Design
District, all that. That's City of Miami. And there's a commissioner. His name's Joe Carollo. And he is a bit of a sleazebag. And he's been in the government for a long time, and he does all these sleazy things. You can look it up. And there's a recall effort right now to try and recall him because he just did some like really dirty stuff over in the
Recall him like what? Like you take it back to the factory and they fix the part and then they give it back to you. Like
they are trying to raise the signatures to get him out of office without an election. Just like get enough signatures to say this guy sucks so much, we need him out. You know.
I feel like these commissioners are like sons of old commissioners too, right?
Well, he's not. He was he's a former mayor of Miami, and he's done a lot of. I mean, I can't list all the stuff, but he just gets in fights with so many people. He got busted like when he goes after one person, but then he gets busted himself, like through code violations.
This was the permitting issue.
Yeah,
his house.
Yeah, he did that after getting on somebody else. But that's not just the thing. He's been trying to like shut down Little Havana and the Friday night things, the Viernes Cultural.
That's their thing.
He was so mad that the ball and chain guy had
Fuller.
Fuller. He hates that guy. He's like basically like Little Havana's mine. So he tried to do his own Viernes Cultural and like push him out and all this stuff.
And then it backfired surely.
Yeah, he's been. You can read the scandals like going back years and years and years, and he always gets off because he's
that's what he do.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, they're doing a recall effort right now, and can you grab me one, please? Andy's grabbing a beer from the fridge, and we're drinking Atue, the Cuban style ale, which I guess is this how it tasted back in the glory days? So they're doing this recall effort, and you have to be in his district to sign. They need to get 1,000-something signatures. Oh fuck! Forgot about this.
Put it next to the mic so everybody can hear what you just did.
Jesus Christ! The beers were all shaken up, and I just cracked it, and it foamed everywhere. It's all over the floor.
It's okay. Just move the plug. We don't end this show real quick.
Is it still plugged in? Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, recall effort. So it was a grassroots thing. The guy who started it, it was just like one guy try to start it, getting a movement going. And the only thing I wanted to say was that a former county commissioner, Bruno Barrero, who lives in Carollo's district, and Miami city manager Joe Ariola, former city manager, they have now joined the recall effort, and one of them is pledging some money. So now this thing has legs. Like they're really gonna promote it so that because you need a little money to get the volunteers to go looking for the signatures in the guy's district.
Volunteers?
Well, or to pay people to go canvassing to get the signatures. So I just wanted to put it out there. If you live in his district and you think the guy's a cheeseball, figure it out and sign that petition. Okay. That's it for what's going on in Miami. Now let's move on to the calendar this week. And when is this rodeo, Andy? Did it already happen?
Yeah, it already happened.
Oh, okay.
It's put it on your calendars for late January because it's a good time. It's got to be a good time.
Okay,
it's a rodeo.
I got a couple things for you on the calendar this in the next couple days. So first of all, this weekend we have the Ground Up Music Festival. It's a jazz festival, top-notch jazz festival here in Miami. It's been going on for a couple years now. It's at the North Beach Bandshell. I went last year, and it's really fun. And not only that, it's while I like jazz and I enjoy it a lot, I'm not like a hardcore fan. I met people who had traveled from all over the country who told me this festival is the sickest jazz festival because it gets all the big names in a small place. You can meet them all this stuff, and you just got the top of the contemporary jazz talent here in Miami, headlined by Snarky Puppy, and it's all weekend. So if you're into that kind of thing, the tickets are affordable. Then they also have like these after parties at the hotels
Hold
where
on. What's affordable?
less than $100.
Ooh.
What?
Is that a whole day thing or a whole night?
Yeah, whole day, whole night, the whole. Well, you see a ton of bands, and you're on the beach, and all
And when you
this
say
stuff.
jazz, I mean there's a bunch of different types of jazz.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different types of bands.
Well, what is the headliner, for example?
Snarky Puppy.
I know, but what kind of jazz?
Oh, what would you call it?
It's not improvised jazz, I hope.
I mean,
Can't stand improvised jazz.
I know you don't like it. You don't like jazz, dude.
I do like jazz. I like blues. I like jazz. I like,
No, jazz and blues are different
I
things.
like
man.
bluegrass.
No, they're totally different, man.
No, but there's
You
good.
should.
There's good jazz.
I
but
need to tell the listeners, Andy. Whenever you put the playlist,
I know.
you know how to pick them, dude. And
You
I
get-
say that in the most sarcastic way.
I know, because even at my own birthday party, you had to change the music. Thing is, I just put one song and I let the rest ride, and I forget about it, and then Rafa swoops in and takes the music machine. But this band, just look them up real quick. What kind of like how do they define themselves? The Snug Puppies. Or
I would just call him. It's a guy, and I would call him.
give the listeners a little bit of a detail,
Okay, maybe we can put something on here. Let's see.
because the guy's definitely got a cool name. I mean, you're gonna judge
Is that what you were thinking?
judge
Okay.
a book. It's like judge a
Okay.
book by its cover kind of thing.
All right, hold on. Let me plug in here, and play you a little sample.
The Mighty Mighty Boss Downs, like they're not that great, but the name's awesome.
All right.
This is jazz.
It's a little jazzy. Hold on. Wait up. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Get through it. It's like fusion, I suppose. This exact thing.
This is fucking dope. This isn't what when you say jazz festival, it's not what I'm thinking. This is like Knight Rider music. Oh, there's the jazz.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's it.
All right, and plus this is super dope.
Yeah.
I like Sade. Sade's kind of jazzy in her own right.
But they're gonna be things that are a little more freeform, Andy.
Is that a
so
saxophone?
That sounded like a trumpet to me.
Oh yeah, trumpet.
So it's gonna be stuff, that's more freeform and stuff like that. Anyway, if
Well,
you're
that's
into that stuff, or if you think you could be into that stuff, go check out the Ground Up Music Festival.
That'd be like the ultimate awesome, coolest elevator music soundtrack. Super dope up the floors.
There's actually live jazz tonight. Well, it's only from 7 to 10, so I guess it's over at Melinda's, which is at the old 1306 North Miami Avenue. But it's every Wednesday, so if you're into that kind of thing.
Wait, rewind. 1306 is the one by the corner?
Yeah.
And what's Melinda's?
It's in... So it's not... 1306 was what it used to be called. It's 1306 North Miami Avenue. And now it's called ATV Records. Okay? And
Same dude?
Yeah, it's a collaboration between the 1306 guy, Aramis,
Yeah.
and the guy from the Electric Pickle.
Right.
So ATV Records,
And where's Melinda's?
Melinda's is, so the whole space is really big, so it has a little tiny inside, and there's a big patio, and then there's kind of like a back area.
Yeah.
So the inside is now called Melinda's, which used to be the little restaurant, tequila bar, under the Electric Pickle. So now, that's 1306, and they have jazz every Wednesday, okay? And they're still open right now, so if you want to go check that out. Churchill's has a little bit, what do we have here? Post-INC solo guitar piece by Rat Bastard tonight, so if you're into that. Let's see what else we have here. Well, I'm not going to tell you more about tonight because you probably already missed it. But tomorrow, James Tillman concert at Floyd Miami, at Floyd, which is right next to the corner also in that strip of space, Floyd 11 in that area. Okay. The Hotbox Cinema Club, which is a little bootleg cinema also in front of the corner. You know the space right in front of the corner?
The bike.
That just empty warehouse or whatever it is?
Oh, the old.
It's an old...
It's next to the open lot.
Exactly.
The lot, and then it was like an old restaurant
Well, this buddy of mine,
distributor
he has started a little cinema once a week
in there.
where he screens movies.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's called Hot Box Cinema,
What's the movie of the week?
and this Thursday they're gonna do a short film by Luis Carducci, which is a local guy, and then I'm not sure if they're gonna do a full screening after that, but there's free popcorn and free entry. Doors at 7:30, the shorts at 8, and at 8:30 they're gonna screen. Oh, they don't announce what they're gonna screen, so you just go and see what's up. They make the picks.
Is it the movie about the boat?
No, it's not the movie about the boat. Oh yeah, Omniboat.
Omniboat.
That's a Borscht movie. Do you know that one of the short films that I missed during the Borscht Films Festival big screening, which was the one at the Arts Center, won a bunch of awards at Sundance. So they're doing good things, even though I don't think Omniboat won any awards.
But they were in Sundance.
Yeah, they were in Sundance.
I hope they didn't play the whole thing.
Oh no, I lost my thing. What, Omniboat? Of course they played the whole
They played
thing.
the whole film at Sundance.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it was a long movie. It was a
they
3-hour movie.
Yeah, they cut it. They cut it further for Sundance, but
That's what I'm saying. They didn't film the whole. I mean, they didn't show the whole thing.
but probably 2 hours at least, 2.5.
Oh Lord.
You are hilarious. All right, so Hotbox Cinema tomorrow if you're into that kind of thing.
Hotbox Cinema wouldn't be the same guy as Night Owl.
No, it's not. But Night Owl is still going, which is the Night Owl is in downtown. If you're into movies, you got Hotbox Cinema and you got the Night Owl Theater in downtown, right next to the old, inside like part of the old Macy's. Go check that out if you're into movies, and look them up on Instagram. Both of them, Hotbox Cinema and Night Owl Theater, because they are doing interesting things. Night Owl does like 35mm screenings of new films and puts on other stuff, and that cinema is really decked out to be a cool little movie theater, so check that out. Tomorrow at Space Mountain, which is up there in Liberty City. Got a special screening of another film. Man, it's all films this week. It's called Holy Trinity Movie, and this is the synopsis is pretty funny. It's the story of a dominatrix who can speak to the dead. Another local filmmaker, if you want to go check that out. We're at Space Mountain. You've got I don't know. You got other stuff going on. Polar Boys are playing at the Ground.
Are you reading the New Times?
No, I'm reading my own little calendar, but I have so many things on it that I can't even get through all the things. On Friday, you got Afro Beta.
You're so popular, Rafa.
No, what do you mean? I just looked up a bunch of things, and I have such a long list that I can't even.
Oh, you didn't RSVP to all these?
No. Afro Beta, local group. They're playing at Gramps on Friday. Check that out. You got ATV Records, Palm Tracks at ATV Records. You got Otension. They have something going on at Gramps also. They'll be there. Ooh, Kill Your Idol. It's not March yet, so they're still open past 2 a.m. They'll have some Seizure Machine playing. Orchid FM this Friday at the Broken Shaker. They used to play here on Jolt Radio, and House of Pre, who are also there. If you want that kind of cool DJ vibe, but at the Broken Shaker on Friday. And I don't know. I guess I'll leave it at that because I'm not sure what else. One last thing. On Saturday, you got the Kryptonite Metal Festival, 13th annual at Churchill's. 27 bands, 3 stages, one insane day of metal.
Death metal?
All types of metal.
That could be worth it.
You know what's cool? Metal's, it's not my favorite shit like to hear by myself, but I will listen to it sometimes. And it's a good vibe with the metalheads. They know how to party. The only thing, wear your
shoulder pads,
no, you don't need the shoulder pads. You need the
earplugs.
the earplugs because
Yeah.
they get really, really loud. So loud that it's like ear-piercingly loud. And almost all the pros have the earplugs in, and it's kind of made for that. But should be good vibes. That's Saturday at Churchill's.
I think it's well understood that we've gotten old now. I got one thing this weekend.
Tell me about it.
If anyone's into vintage cars, there's a Concours d'Elegance, which is essentially a fancy name to say a fancy car show with judges judging which is the most authentic. No, not authentic. What would it be? Just the coolest car on the block. At the Miami Design District, they basically close off 3 blocks or 3 streets, and there'll be cars stacked, lined up and down them. It's probably Saturday. Or is it Sunday? Let's double check real quick.
Say the name again so everybody can
It's
look
a
it up.
Concours d'Elegance at the Miami Design District.
All right, check that out this weekend. Classic cars or new cars?
All classic. They have like a $10 million rare Ferrari I saw on the list of cars.
All right, that sounds like a good time.
Last
if
year
you're into cars, it's during the day, I
Yeah,
assume.
it's during the day. I went last year and they had an Icon A5. You can tell them what an Icon A5 is.
The Icon A5 is a plane that is just small. It's just small enough where you don't need a license to fly it.
It's like a jet. It's a flying jet ski.
Yeah, it's like a flying jet ski, all modern, enclosed cockpit, and the wings fold so that you can put it on a trailer and take it with you wherever you need to go, and just kind of drop it in at the marina, and then go flying and then land again in the water so you can chill out, kind of thing.
It was originally designed by 2 people. One was an ex-Air Force fighter jet pilot, and the other one was a skateboarder. Rare tidbit.
Nice.
Some of the highlights of the show, I looked it up really quickly, is a 1959 Ferrari 250 short wheelbase. It says here valued at over $10 million. There's a gathering of Ferrari supercars. There's a Jaguar XJR15. There was one of 53 produced. Just old Corvettes and Shelbys and a list of other things. But for all those car fanatics and wrench monkeys, you might be interested.
Very cool. All right, let's wrap it up because I haven't gotten more to say, and I don't think you do either.
Nope.
All right. I want to thank everybody for listening on this serene Wednesday, February 12th, 2020. Nothing's going on. Thank you, Jolt Radio. Keep it locked on this station, and enjoy the tunes the rest of the night. Good night, and
Sweet dreams.
Yeah, catch you in 2 weeks or so. And hopefully Artie will be back. I forgot to mention that Artie is not here because he is working the boat show, which is also this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And every year they hire him to putt around on a little dinghy.
And heckle.
And make sure that things are kind of in order and whatnot there at the Marine Stadium. That's all this weekend.
Definitely tune in because he's always got the best stories after these boat putts around the bay.
All right, that's it. Thank you, and see you soon.